You're listening to Moon Monkey with Matt and Andrew. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Beast, directed by Michael Pearce.
Right. So it's a thriller set in the island of Jersey, and it's essentially following life of Moll as she becomes embroiled in the search for a serial killer within the island.
There is a serial killer on the island, which going into the film, I thought that was going to play a more central role, but it sort of becomes more about can she trust certain people. In particular, Pascal, who's a young man who she meets, who seems a little suspicious. This is what I felt anyway, because she's sort of late 20s, but she still lives at home with her parents, and it felt somehow as though she's trapped. At the beginning of the film, she mentions that is it killer whales that often go insane when they're trapped in small cages, and one of them that's like hit the glass and broke its teeth or something. So you right from the beginning, you're thinking, oh, is that happening to her?
Yeah.
She's kind of going insane because she's trapped there with her parents and can't get out. And she meets this Pascal, which seems to her like a way to escape from her drudgery and sort of monotonous life with her family and go off with him. But then this serial killer's on the loose, and she's told by a police officer that this guy is a suspect. So it then becomes about, does she trust this guy? Because she doesn't really know him. Like, she thinks she knows him, but does she really know him? Yeah,
it is a sign. Like I think you've kind of hit it on the head. It's like who can Moll really trust, because she's got like an overbearing family, and it's not a good situation at home. Like her brother and her sister are very horrible to her. Her mother in particular is very overbearing, and even when it's the first kind of opening scene is her birthday party, and it is then overshadowed by our sister announcing that they're having, her and her husband are having twins.
Yeah.
And her mother decides, this is the time to break out the champagne, even though it was Moll's birthday and they didn't break out the champagne.
Yeah, her sister seems like a more perfect person in a way, and to be more valued by the family. Moll seems sort of like the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
She's often sort of neglected and not thought about. And so on her own birthday, she sneaks out of the house and goes to a club and gets drunk. And then we learn later on that, like, during her childhood, she was bullied and had a sort of violent streak. So there's a whole thing going through the film of she's also fighting that violence within herself and that sort of her own dark nature. And there's early on in the film, there's a scene where she's in front of the mirror and pulling out sort of a black hair from her neck, like one single strong hair. And I know you read that in a different way than I read it, but you were saying that's possibly a metaphor for sort of her beast-like nature or animalistic nature.
Well, just like, I thought it was like her coming to terms with the fact that she isn't perfect.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Well, there's a whole theme running through there, though, of like when she meets Pascal, and there's a book of like wild animals, and he's saying, the only chapter that's missing is the human.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like saying humans are animals, like humans have a dark, violent nature.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of it is like the parallels between her and Pascal, and how in many ways they are similar, and maybe that's why she's drawn to him, and why she trusts him, and stuff like that. But I think like the film is quite gripping, and there is a lot of twist to it. It can be a bit of a slow burn, but I think the performances, like with Jessie Buckley and Johnny Flynn, are really good, and it keeps you entertained because you never really know who she can fully trust. And there's always little warning signs throughout the movie about like there's nobody.
Yeah, Jessie Buckley was amazing.
Yeah, they were both really good.
Her performance was really good, and like you're never really even sure what she's thinking. Like you're sort of following her the whole way through the film, but you're never really sure where she is in her head. Like
no.
You're not sure right until the end which way she's going to go or what she's going to do. So I thought that was really good. And like you're saying, it is a slow burn, but throughout it you have that undercurrent of threat because there is a serial killer on the loose, and also like a child murderer. Because it's three young girls who've been killed, and Moll also has a younger sister, so there's that threat there as well. Yeah, there's even in a sense.
I think it's her niece. I think maybe her niece.
Oh yeah, her niece. Sorry, yeah. There's also like a threat to Moll herself, because you're thinking he's always killing like women, usually young women, but you feel like, is Moll in danger as well?
Yeah, like Moll's whole story is just like a bunch of toxic characters, like her family or Pascal or the police and nobody's there to really help Moll.
Yeah,
it's really just Moll struggling to to cope with her life and what's going on within it. And I think, like, the reason the film is so good is really her performance and her relationship with Pascal. And also, like, I think, like, although it is a thriller, there is, like, a kind of strong love story pushing it along between her and Pascal. Like, there is that they're both outcasts, and there's the mystery of what's going on in the island, and the mystery of what's going on in Maul's mind as well. But
there's also sort of like a sort of sexual violence playing throughout as well, because early on at her birthday party, there's like the police officer that gives her like a badge, which is only meant to be given to like people who've served time in the police. And his whole interaction with her is very creepy and weird, like an older man to a younger woman.
It's like any interaction between a male character and Maul is horrific.
Yeah, because because then she has another terrible encounter with a guy at the club.
Yeah, it's just a series of horrible.
And then with Pascal, her relationship seems pretty good, despite the fact there's that doubt there.
Yeah, but you like I think the story makes you sympathise with, like, you almost at some moments want to be with Pascal, even though you know he's dodgy, because everybody else is so horrible. You think, oh, Pascal's the best option there for her, because it's like the only time she's happy. It's
like you totally understand her point of view. It's not like she's seeing something that everyone else isn't. Like, you can really understand where she's coming from. But
it is interesting to see how the story makes you not be able to judge where your sympathy should be going. And I think that's a testament to the way it's written. And it is what I really did like about it as well is like the score and the landscapes and the scenery of the island and stuff like that. They really use that well. But there is some like really quite graphic and horrific scenes. It's not for everybody. There's there's a scene with a rabbit I did not enjoy.
There's a couple of scenes, but it's used.
It's more about the psychology of it. It's not like the film's not just gore, but it's about the psychology.
That's what I was saying from the synopsis. I thought it was going to be more like a crime investigation, but it's more a psychological sort of exploration of this character and how she's dealing with her situation, and also sort of the fact that she sort of shuts out the murders in a way because she's so much else going on in her life that really the murders are like. She doesn't care that much about them. Like, she's not personally affected by them in a way, so it sort of felt, that was taking a back seat to what was happening in her life. Like, people to check this out, if you're into the sort of psychological thriller genre, and some, like you say, fantastic acting, and it was great to see Jersey in a film. Like, you don't see that too often. Like, it's a different landscape to see.
Yeah.
And like you say, it was used really well, like the sea. And also, I suppose, like, there's something about setting it on an island like that gives it that psychological
feeling of that she's trapped as well.
Yeah, so that was really well done.
No, I really liked it. Just the performances are all really good. Even, like, the supporting cast I've not really mentioned. It really helps the story. And I really like the score. And I just think, there's lots of layers to it. It's not just like a thriller. There's loads you can read into it.
Yeah. Because I personally, as well, with the title of the film and like certain elements like Pascal and Maul's relationship, there was like a fairy tale vibe going through. Like, I wouldn't say Beauty and the Beast, but that kind of like animal versus sort of trying to tempt her to the dark side. It's like a Grimm's fairy tale type thing, or like a morality tale. I suppose that's what I'm trying to get across. It's a morality tale of if you were in this situation, would you trust this person? Wouldn't you trust them? Like, what would be the right thing to do, like, given this sort of situation? And a lot of characters, like you say, are sort of like a kind of archetypes. Like, her mother is almost like the wicked stepmother, even though it's her real mother, but she's sort of like the wicked matriarchal figure.
No, yes.
And there's various sort of archetypal characters in it, I felt, anyway. That was our review of Beast. We'll be back with another review very soon. Please make sure to like and subscribe.